This is the Routledge History of Literature in English Part 6. So let's dive in to the world of literature. So let's get started. Now we will be covering the Renaissance portion, the important points of the Renaissance, starting from 1485 to 1660. You can find it in page 51 onwards. Queen Elizabeth I ruled from 1558 to 1603, and War of Roses took place from 1453 to 1485. It was a civil war between Lancaster, which were the red roses, versus Yorks, who were the white roses. Tudor dynasty came to power. Let's talk about Henry VIII, whose reign lasted from 1509 to 1547. He is considered one of the greatest Tudor monarchs. He has married 6 times and he only have one son and 2 daughters who became King Edward VI, Queen Mary I and Queen Elizabeth I. The need for the annulment of his first marriage to Catherine of Aragon brought Henry into direct conflict with the Catholic Church and with Pope Clement VII. And that is why King Henry VIII ended the rule of the Catholic Church in England. The importance of this move, known as the Reformation, is huge. In a very short period of time, centuries of religious faith, attitudes, and beliefs were replaced by a new way of thinking. Now, for example, the king, as defender of the faith, was the closest human being to God, a role previously given to the Pope in Rome. Now, England became Protestant, and the nation's political and religious identity had to be redefined. Protestantism, which had originated with Martin Luther's 95 Theses in Wittenberg in 1517, became the official national religion. And the king, rather than the Pope, became head of the church. Although King Henry himself remained nominally Catholic despite being excommunicated by the Pope. Desiderius Erasmus wrote Praise of Folly in 1509. He tried to contempt for the narrowness of Catholic monasticism was not an attempt to deny the authority of the Pope, but a challenge to the corruption of the Catholic Church. And the translation of Bible started. Geneva became the powerhouse of Protestantism. Many incidents took place, like Guy Fawkes' gunpowder plot of November 5, 1605. We can also find about the Spanish Armada in 1588. The fleet of the Catholic King Philip of Spain was defeated. The first public theatre, the theatre, started in 1576. Remember, the name of the first public theatre was The Theatre. Total's Miscellany, published in 1557, written by Sir Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey. So they took inspiration from Francesco Petrarch, who has written sonnets for his ideal woman Laura, and they took inspiration and started English sonnets. And sonnets are of 14 lines, 8 plus 6, but Shakespeare changed its style to 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2. Now let's talk about Sir Philip Sidney and Edmund Spenser and their important works. Sir Philip Sidney was born in 1554 and died in 1586. He died young. He died in the Battle of Zutphen. He has written many works such as Astrophel and Stella, Arcadia, and he has even written The Defense of Poetry, as it is considered one of the first organized way of criticism in English. Now let's talk about Edmund Spenser. He has written many works. His major work is The Faerie Queene, which was planned to be written in 12 books, but was able to complete only 6 books. And the virtues of that 6 books were truth, temperance, chastity, friendship, justice, and courtesy. It is a moral allegory where you can find reference to Queen Elizabeth, whom we can find as the Faerie Queene, and even she is called as Gloriana in the work. And his other writings are The Shepherd's Calendar in 1579 and the marriage hymn Epithalamion between 1595 to 1596 are particularly interesting for their relation of poetry to time. 12 epilogues representing the 12 months of the year in the former, and the 24 stanzas representing the hours of Midsummer's Day in the latter. So that's all for today's video, and yes, in the slides I have written less and I have explained more from the pages of Routledge. You can see there, and I have explained the important points from which the questions might come from the Routledge History of Literature in English, as because few questions always comes from this book. You can like say approx from 5 to 10 questions, so it's like 10 to 20 marks. Do remember it, okay? Questions always comes, okay? So do cover the book very properly. And one thing more, I am not explaining the poems or different things. I am just covering the important pointers from the Routledge book, okay? So do remember it. Later on I will be explaining different things, but for this whole session that I am covering of the Routledge history book, I will be covering the important pointers only that might come in the exam. So do remember it, okay? And cover other parts, summary and different things properly. And I will be uploading more and more videos. So that's all for today's video. If you have any doubts or query, you can ask below in the comment section, or you can message me on social media. So that's all for today's video. Thank you.